What's up, everybody? This is your girl Devoted Tip, and I am back. I apologize that you haven't seen me for a couple of weeks. I actually had to get some of my equipment I use repaired, so don't worry, I didn't disappear forever. So we're gonna jump right back into tonight's episode. It opens up with Portia going over to Phaedra's to babysit. Portia say she want to use this experience as practice because y'all know she is like ready for these children, honey. So while Phaedra goes out to take care of some business, Portia stays there with the kids. And let me tell you, they gave her a run for her money. You can tell they have been listening to some conversations around their mama that maybe they shouldn't have because they was trying to negotiate with her. They was giving her all kinds of lip, but they were adorable though, and she ended up doing a pretty decent job putting them to bed. And so Phaedra comes back in from her her meeting, and then Portia tells her that she will commit to doing it once a week, especially when she starts dating. So that's really sweet. I do think of some of the fakeness on their show that the relationship between Phaedra and Portia is really real, and I like that. So then we shoot over to a photo shoot for Cairo. Sheree has decided to be momager. He wants to model now, so she's still in the fashion industry. Child, she went from No She by Sheree to now being a momager and set up a little photo shoot for him. And of course, Cairo was looking nice, but just so y'all know, I am over my crush on him. He always looking sleepy, and I don't know if it's because he's a college student. I like chill guys, but I don't like him that chill, so I got over my little crush, y'all. But he actually did a really good job. He was definitely a natural, I would say. And then good old Bob shows up. Y'all know Bob cracks me up. And he goes up to him like, oh, why you got my son over here naked? And then he proceeds to try to take off his shirt. I knew they couldn't hear me, but I was yelling out the screen, no, no, Bob, don't do it. Nobody is ready for that. But that was nice. They had their little family moment. So then we go over to... Oh, we go over to Kenya. Her dad's in town, and of course she wants to use this moment to have her dad to talk to Matt. Let me tell you, nothing cracks me up more than Kenya's summary or recap of anything that ever happened. It is like 33.4% of what actually happened, and she sums it up always in a summary that makes her look good and that everything is bad on the other person and she did nothing at all. Now, I'm a girl's girl, so I don't condone Matt being so angry to the point that he is like kicking stuff in and breaking things and things like that. But I do say I think Kenya should recast her boyfriend. Oh, she should move on. So then we go over to Phaedra. She's at her office, and apparently the alleged person that did the bomb threats parents or mother arrives at the office, and she talks to her. I feel like they edited a lot out of that scene. They made sure to get the part where his mom said there was no need to fear, and Phaedra saying I wasn't really worried. And then they cut over to Kandi and her candy coated clique. And of course, since her only storylines are the restaurant that is not built yet and talking about Phaedra, and her mama talking about Phaedra, they did a little bit of that in this scene. What I didn't like about that was you swore up and down last episode that Phaedra was lying and that it was an actual threat and that it wasn't what she was saying, which was that the news got it wrong. So if you really did think it was a bomb threat, then why would you sit around with your staff and your husband joking about it, making light of the situation, talking about Phaedra, which all this time she has been saying she can't stand that Phaedra does, and then going off of rumors that you heard in the street because you weren't there. As the seasons go on and on, I just continue to have less respect for Kandi. I know it is edited, but they don't edit what you say out of your mouth, and she is just more like her mom than I guess I realized, and it's just not a good look on her at all because she was supposed to be the cool one that kept it real. Now she's a little bit of the petty one and the hypocritical one. That was Kenya's job, and now Kandi's doing it too. So then we go over to Portia's mom's, and Todd, her new candidate for Operation I Want a Baby Now, is coming over and having family dinner. her sister seems to be very skeptical. And she was just kind of staring him down, filling him out. And he was just a cheesing. He was quiet. He was nervous. He didn't want to pray. So either that's because he knows his intentions are bad, or because he genuinely cares about her and wants to make a good impression. I kind of feel what they've shown so far that he does really like her. He did have his moment of being a gentleman. He pulled out the mama's chair, which was nice. And so then, of course, the grilling begins, and they asking him how long they've been dating, how long they dated last time. But then they ask him the question of, if your kids are 14 and 16, do you really want to start over? And it was a long, dramatic pause, honey. And everybody was kind of like looking on him, waiting for the answer. And he ended up saying the perfect politically correct answer, just so diplomatic. In the right circumstance, I would. That's like if you ask a man, does he ever want to get married again? And he don't. And he's like, well, for the right girl, but then nobody's ever the right girl. So we'll see if that actually happens. But it appeased them, at least for that conversation. And he ends up dropping the L-bomb and in front of the family and kisses Portia, and she was shocked too. She's like, usually she's the first one, so we'll see what happens with that. So we're back with Kenya. She brings her dad to the house. Here, her dad throws the ultimate shade out of all of the people that have been on the Housewives. He's like, I hope it actually looks good this time. Her daddy do not hold back. Maybe that's where she gets it from. And of course, the glass still is broken, and just it don't make sense to me. You're a celebrity and you're leaving your home exposed. All I can figure, she hadn't got a check yet from the Kenya water hair care products, because who gonna let their house sit there with broken glass that people could get in? Anyways, they get in there, and she insists to her dad that Matt loves her. It's just a trip to me, because when she was trying to get Portia kicked off the show, she was all, oh, there's no excuse for violence, there's no excuse for this or that. But in this situation, I guess it's okay. I guess if it's a man you really want, then it's okay. And that's not a good message she's sending. So you need to figure out what your stance is on that and stick to it. Because right now, you just bouncing all over the place. So then Sheree and Cairo meet up with Cynthia, because of course he didn't take his model pics now. And shoot, she got a friend that was a model. Hey. And so Cynthia couldn't even hide it. She just looked him on up and down, and she was like, oh, you've gotten big since the last time I seen you. And she followed him, stared at him as he walked up and went and got them some coffee. And Sheree caught it too, and she was like, don't be in my son's DM. So then they sit down, and she tells him he's ready to model now. And Sheree, of course, says, oh, well, he wants to do Fashion Week. Now, come on, Sheree. I know you don't know as much about fashion, and your fashion line didn't actually get off the ground, but I know you know enough to know that you can't just decide you want to model one day, and then the next day go to Fashion Week, child. But Cynthia kept it real, as she always does. Sheree cut her off talking about how you can do anything you set your mind to. Woman, this ain't no time for that pep talk. Just hear what the professional got to say. So we'll see how far that goes. But hopefully it don't take as long as it did to get the house ready, which still isn't ready. So we're back over to Kenya, and she's at a cigar bar with her dad. Supposed to be meeting Matt there. They sitting, he's smoking, they waiting. And then she finally checks her phone, and Matt has sent all these messages saying he's not coming. And at this point, basically, Kenya just sicks her dad on him. And it's like, well, you need to call him and tell him he needs to come, that you done came all the way here, blah, blah, blah. Matt gets on the phone. He keep it real with dad, which I appreciate. That, yeah, you know, what I did was not right. But, look, she be like basically setting me up, and she be getting me into some situations where she can manipulate. And he ends up coming. And the dad, I don't know. The other reason that whole situation don't add up, because if I had known that somebody kicked in my daughter's door, and if I had known somebody like broke glass in my daughter's garage, I wouldn't be so chill, which is why I really do think he's just another hired person for the storyline. It just wouldn't add up, because what dad would just be like chill like that if that was really true that those things happened, or that it wasn't like a setup. So he get in there, he tried to talk to both of them. I do like that the dad was like, well, it has to be a two-way street, it's give and take on both sides. Because, of course, Kenya, she ain't never going to apologize or own up to nothing unless she feel like she backed in a corner and she has no other choice. And he said something so deep. He said, it's hard to deal with someone's flaws when they don't realize they have them. I'd be like, rewind, because that was some knowledge he just dropped. And she couldn't even say nothing after that. Drop the mic, it's done. So then it goes to the final scene of this episode, which is the meeting with Phaedra and Kandi. Phaedra basically wanted to meet up with her and tell her how she felt about her mom just kind of making light of the situation, saying, oh, well, that's not what I heard. He said he wanted to blow you the F up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that is so, like, you're supposed to be a motherly figure. Just, I understand that you don't like some of the things that Phaedra said about Kandi or said about Todd, which you just started being friends with. But to go that far and, like, kind of laugh at the situation, like, who does that other than Kandi's mom? So she sits down. Kandi, you can already tell her body language was just so, her body language was just such a mess. So you could tell she wasn't there for it. She didn't even get nothing to drink. She said, I'll have her water. So that already lets you know in any meeting you go into when they don't want to get nothing to eat or nothing to drink, that she wasn't going to be there long. She wasn't going to be there that long. So, Phaedra tried to talk to her woman to woman and be like, I don't appreciate, what your mom said. She's like, well, she didn't say nothing that wasn't already out in the papers. Like, you can't just like own up to it and say, you know what, my mom went too far with that. My mom was out of line with that. No, she just decided to go the angry route, and she just turns the conversation around to other things that have nothing to do with what they was there to talk about. She goes on talking about, oh, well, you this, you that. You was talking about my husband, which they already had addressed, like the last reunion. And then she's like, you say stuff about me out in the street. And Phaedra's like, well, you do too. And she's like, well, I don't say nothing that's not true. So let's pause right there, because I hate when people say that. Basically, like, anything can be true. That don't mean it's right to say it. I could say something about Kandi that's completely mean, but could be completely true. So that means that it's okay to say it because it's true. It still don't mean it's in good taste or that it's not appropriate. And she act like she can't wrap her brain around that. And then I got even more upset when she starts telling, I don't know if it's true or not, but conversations that she had with Phaedra that apparently Phaedra was already planning to get with somebody else and get married before Apollo even went off to jail. Okay, if that is the case, yeah, she probably should wait until she's completely out of the marriage to even be thinking or talking about moving on. But if she had a private moment at that time with her best friend and telling her feelings, she could have been saying it in the moment. She might not have actually felt that way, or even if she did, it's nothing like the kind of person that when you're no longer friends, they don't honor what you told them when y'all were friends. It's like they take advantage of that and they try to make you look bad. And in this case, she's making her look bad on national television, telling her private stuff. Like, I'm sure there's things that Phaedra knows about Kandi that she has not told, that Kandi told her when they were friends. So for her to end it like that, and then she's like, well, we not friends no more. We just gonna keep it cordial. I don't want to really be around you. I'ma go. And then that was the episode. So we gonna see how it goes next week. This is your girl, Miss Devoted Tiff, signing out for tonight. It's good to be back with y'all. Let me know your thoughts, what you agree with, what you disagree with. You guys have a good holiday. I will be coming to you with some non-reality reviews. My first one up is going to be my advice and insight on being a female that is friends with a male that has a girlfriend, fiance, or wife. And I got some personal experience on the topic that I cannot wait to share with you guys. All right, y'all, take care of yourselves. Bye.